Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Shadows of Khadesa. Thank you for joining us on our last episode before we take our mid-season break. Welcome. Before we jump into tonight's episode, let's go ahead and introduce our players.
Hi, I'm Brady and I am playing Ty.
Hi, I'm Gray and I'll be playing Savon.
Hi, I'm Katie and I'll be playing Akari.
Hi, I'm Miles, and I'll be playing Quinn.
I'm Zelfa, and I'll be playing Minji.
And I'm Erin, your host and dungeon master. Last we left off with this group of heroes. They had kind of gathered outside of the inner sanctum of the temple grounds, had overheard some various bits of information within the temple, and found themselves more or less tasked with Akari in charge of doing a little bit of investigation in what is known as the Forgotten City. The Forgotten City, the Forgotten District, the Old City, the Dead Quarter. The northeast section of Khadesa goes by a whole bunch of names throughout the city. None of them particularly good or welcoming. Some 100-ish years ago, during the times of a plague, the city was essentially quarantined off. A new wall was built around it, and the city kind of just faded into ruin up in that old quarter. Since then, not a whole lot of people have dared kind of enter it. It's been this standing, almost a graveyard, monument of a time long since past and poorly remembered. As we left off, our group of adventurers, having made some preparations overnight, gotten their rest, grabbed a few supplies, gathered back together at the temple, and have made their way through the city of Khadesa just after dawn to the wall that sections off the outer portion of the city. As the group of you approach, there's not so much a gate leading out to the old part of the city as there is a heavy wrought iron door that does not look like it has been used in decades, and is pretty well sealed off. This heavy iron door set into the stone wall has a series of padlocks on it, mostly to keep people from adventuring out. Probably kids and teenagers in particular.
Looking around, is there any people?
Yeah, they're like guards.
No guards at this area of the city. As you guys have passed through kind of like more of the farming areas within the city, there are a few people around at a distance, kind of working fields, things like that, but not really anybody at the wall.
How tall is the wall again?
It's about 10 feet.
I'm gonna climb on it.
Okay.
I'm gonna just...
Yeah, you can do so very easily.
What's the top of the wall look like? Is it flat? Is it got like...
Yeah, so the top of the wall has a little bit of a lip on it, and so there's a walkway that is built into the wall. This part of the walkway... The walkway kind of spans the entire length of the city. This portion of walkway is not very well used. People tend to just kind of make the C-shaped circle and avoid this corner of town as much as possible. But it does connect to the rest of the city wall. It's about 5 feet wide, and it kind of like widens up at the top so that they can post guards. People can walk back and forth, particularly in times of war that Khadesa really hasn't faced in a long time. There are, like, along the wall in general around Khadesa, there are usually a handful of guards posted near the main gates to kind of watch the incoming and outgoings of merchants and things like that. But in this area of the wall, you are pretty much alone. And as you look over the wall, on the other side of it, kind of this corner portion of what used to be part of the city, are a number of kind of old, decrepit buildings, most of them kind of faded into ruin, pieces of roof having caved in, missing, remnants of stone frame, pretty much just a very, very well-worn set of ruins.
I'll like look over Like, I'll basically climb up the wall and I'll just disappear for a second because I'll go and look over the other side. And then after a second, you guys don't see anything until a rope is launched over the side and drops down.
Oh, that's one way of doing things.
There's no way to open this door then, is there? Like, it's just in disarray. Like, we didn't get a key.
You did not get a key. You could try and either pick or break the locks.
I'm not gonna do that. I don't have the dexterity for that.
If there's hesitation, Savannah's gonna lean over. You coming or what?
I'm gonna motion to Quinn. Go on. You need help?
Oh,
Need
boy.
assistance down?
Also,
He
I'm
goes
assuming I
up to
found a
the-
place to tie it off up there.
Yeah, there's kind of like little divots within the wall that you can use to secure it.
Cool.
And I'll help, like, I'll assist people going up.
Quinn will go up. This shady rope.
So you kind of like one by one make your way up this rope. It's not really that high. It's only the 10 feet, and especially with Akari helping most of you, even those of you who are not like particularly suited for the more athletic activities, it's not like you have far to go. All you have to do is basically hold on to the rope high enough up, and Siobhan can pretty much reach down and
I'll
pull
just
the
reach
rest
down.
away.
Yeah.
I am gonna be a little showboaty when it's my turn because I help everybody up, and then I'm gonna take a couple steps back and look super cool as I run and jump up on that wall.
Make me an athletics check for that.
Would it be athletics? Yeah.
Athletics
yeah.
or acrobatics? Yeah.
Nice.
Either way.
Proficient in that. Okay, cool. Math. It's only +2. 15.
Yeah, you pretty adeptly like launch yourself up the side of the wall. It's very like elegant show, kind of like roll over the top of the wall to land.
All right then. And he'll
Dust myself
take the
off.
rope and start rolling it back up.
How far down is it on the other side?
It's another just 10 feet
So
down.
10 feet. Okay.
He'll toss it down the other way.
Kai did physically try the door before using the rope.
Okay.
Oh, bud.
Kind of, it's heavy and it's locked.
And he just kind of looks at everybody like, you never know.
It never hurts to try. Esteban throws the rope down over the other side of the wall, and each of you kind of using the rope to slow your fall down into the other side. As you hit the bottom, out here, it's pretty much, you can see remnants of what used to be a path through this part of the town. However, most of it is kind of like well overgrown. Patches of like wild leaves and flowers are growing through little bits of stone that are still left behind from the road. Several of these buildings are kind of built up on raised stone platforms. The homes made largely of wood. Most of them are like missing sections of the roof, some of them missing doors. A couple of them have collapsed in corners just from the elements and disuse over the last century. Anybody who would like to go ahead and please make me a perception check.
It's a whopping +0, but all right. 19.
Okay.
14.
Yikes. I'm the one that's good at perception. 10.
13.
Okay.
16.
So all of you, as you kind of glance around, you can feel pretty confident, like nobody lives here. You don't see any movement of like large creatures or humanoid figures or anything moving. Like this place is abandoned. Those of you who rolled over a 15, in addition, not only are you realizing there is an absence of like, obviously people don't live here, you don't seem to feel like anything lives here. It's almost like it's too quiet. Some of you have been outside the city of Khadesa before, and in like along the roads and things like that, you'll hear insects, the chirping of birds and things like that. Here, it's just like silence.
I kind of remember back to when I used Detect Magic on the darkness, and just kind of reach into my pouch and pull out this little piece of leather and rub it in my fingers, and then put it in a fist to my chest and cast Mage Armor on myself.
Okay.
Protect the squishy wizard.
Quinn's gonna look at Kai doing that, and he's gonna attempt to do that as well. He has it. He's just never used it before, so this should be fun.
Quinn, if you will go ahead and just give me an Arcana check.
Alrighty. Okay, that is a 7.
Okay, it takes you a minute. You watch Kai just like adeptly take out this piece of leather with this incantation. You see this like kind of shimmer come over him. Kai, what does your mage armor look like?
It's not anything super special. It almost just looks like maybe around a few corners of his body, almost like a slight like blur.
So you can kind of see like the silhouette of armor and kind of this almost iridescent magical shimmer around Kai. And as you're trying to do this yourself, you're like looking for a piece of leather because you saw that's what Kai did, and you can't like have anything. So you're just like trying to like mimic his hand symbols and things like that. And it works.
Yeah.
Looks a little off. What does your somewhat off mage armor look like, Quinn?
Oh boy. Huh. It kind of... Let me use that spell slot real quick. That is an excellent question.
It's like you tried to make it look like armor, but it didn't quite work.
Is it just a bucket?
It's just one big bucket. He tries to make it like in his mind's eye. He tries to make it look like Kai's, but I think it just looks. Maybe it like sparks a little bit, and it just kind of looks like a mist, kind of.
As the rest of you watch Quinn trying to mimic what Kai is doing, this kind of the same kind of shimmer starts, and in the place of what would be like the extension of shoulder pauldrons and like a chest plate and things like that, it's just kind of like patchy puzzle kind of pieces like layered over each other. It's close. It's probably effective, but you know, work on the aesthetic.
Savon's gonna. Oh,
I just turn around and done getting dressed, are we? Can we please move on? Just.
Kai's just going to make eye contact with Quinn and just be like...
Savon is gonna look at Quinn, look at Akari, look back at Quinn, and just, do you have any experience with your magic, or are you just making it up as you go?
Yes and no. About 2 months of on and off practice, if you could call it practice.
He's just gonna look over at Akari, who's probably turned away from him, just eyebrows like raised. All right. And he's gonna like kind of skip up over to Akari.
I don't look back, but I take out my naginata and I just flick it out and just wait for everybody to start walking with me, because I've started going.
Svan is like right next to her, and he just has his arms crossed, and he leans forward, intentionally trying to like look at her. 2 months, huh?
60 days.
As they're walking along, Kai is just going to be kind of like poking at and inspecting Quinn's mage armor.
There is a reason I left the rope up on that wall.
That was my rope, and I would have grabbed it.
Ah, dang it. Well, I was the last person down.
No, you weren't. Not if it was my rope.
Well, fine. Never mind. I have no rope.
No rope.
I mean,
retcon that then.
Retcon that. But any regrets yet? It's only been a couple hours. It's not too late. We can still see the gate. At this point, he's turned around and he's walking backwards. He's talking to her.
Of course he is.
Yeah.
Kai is now like gently
like
punching where he can see the mage armor.
He's talking pretty low, so unless you're like really trying to listen into what he's saying, I don't know if you guys can hear him.
And I forgot, what's the, what do we add to mage armor for this? I know it's a homebrewed one.
Yes. So instead of 13 plus your dexterity, we are going to do 10 plus your spellcasting modifier.
Okay. That's better than what I have without armor, so perfect.
That's a relief, at least.
Yeah. A whole 3 points higher.
Hey.
That makes difference.
Sometimes it only takes 1 point.
It's true. It's very true.
I'll remember that.
Akari, as you kind of take the lead heading into this area of a ruined city, you can see kind of into some of these buildings where the windows have been broken, the doors have been kind of either removed or broken down on the hinges, things like that. And inside these buildings are just like scraps of furniture. Kind of a lot of the houses have like bits of like vines that are growing in through the walls, through cracks in the floor, things like that. As you very much get the feeling that nature has tried to reclaim this city over the last century that it's pretty much stood unoccupied. The rest of you, as you were kind of following, this area of the city is basically the equivalent of a small village. There are a couple dozen homes that you can see. There are some other buildings that look like they may have been shops, things like that. The remnants of a small stone shrine stands at the end of one of these kind of well-worn pathways, now covered in moss and vines and things like that. As you were kind of walking through and examining this area, is there anything in particular you are keeping an eye out for or looking for?
So I'm walking pretty confidently. I'm not really stealthy, but I'm trying to be quiet, like soft footsteps. I guess I'm looking for like a city center or an epicenter, maybe something that a lot of people would have gathered to.
Okay. You can definitely find the probably like central portion of this area of town would have been kind of what would be the equivalent of like a small town square in this quarter. And you know, all of you know, having lived in Khadesa, that Khadesa is kind of organized into blocks of homes and buildings. And at the center, or approximately center, each block kind of has an area that has like a well and an area where like market stands can be set up and things like that. And this kind of old quarter of the city definitely has one of those near the center, where there is the remnants of a kind of wooden well off to one side. The rest of it is kind of just open space, very much like the cracked cobbles with the various vines, weeds, things like that growing through the cracks.
I go and I look inside the well. Like, I just go look down.
Okay. Go ahead and make me a perception check.
Come on, D&D Beyond. Are you gonna be my friend or my foe? Let's see. My frenemy, I guess. 17.
As you kind of glance down, it looks like the well is completely dry. No water runs here anymore.
What exactly are we here for, Princess?
I roll my eyes. Just keep your eyes out for anything unusual. Truth be told, I'm not sure.
Great.
This whole place is kind of unusual.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Are there any, like, footprints, like old footprints on the ground from years past? Things that we could, can I investigate?
Go ahead and make me an investigation check, if you will. And then Kai, if you would, will you make me a history check?
That's just a flat 14.
Okay. As you're looking around, this place has been pretty abandoned. Most of the pathways are stone. There's not like a lot of footprints or anything to be left behind. But as you're kind of looking around the town square, something that strikes you as kind of unusual is you had heard and were told that this was basically a section of the city that was quarantined off during like the times of plagues. You also notice there are no bones, there are no remnants of people. You really don't see like any signs of life, current or otherwise here.
I got a 23.
Okay. Kai, you've done a little bit of reading in your days and kind of have looked into some of the history of Khadesa and its city, and you would know that the kind of the forgotten area of town was pretty much rumored to be, lots of people have claimed that it's haunted, that like strange things can be heard outside the city walls at night, things like that. Most of the reports do happen at night. And you also are very much aware that according to like lore or other reports that have been written over the last century, that the couple of times that the city has attempted to launch like an investigation, or like people have kind of independently gone into the area on their own, they either returned in a hurry or did not return.
Okay. Kai's gonna kind of clear his throat and just be like, after we separated last night, I kind of snuck into the library again to do some research. And it seemed like when I was reading, most of the scary things that people report mostly seem to happen at night. So we might just have to wait.
Oh boy.
Gives us lots
You
of
snuck
time
into
to
the
scout.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you feel the need to read. Not that hard.
You snuck into the library.
Yeah. Do it all the time.
Time.
But are you so impressed with him?
Not entirely so, but I mean, it gives him some credit, and he seems to know a little bit more than at least you. So...
Well, I do know that this was used as a quarantine area during the plague. People typically die during sicknesses. But have you seen any bodies?
Sure
any
haven't.
bones, any remains?
No.
Doesn't that seem strange?
Well, again, as this one gestures at Quinn, said it is a very weird place. So
Then we should use the time that we have during the daylight to figure out exactly what this weird place is, the layout, so we know and don't get caught in between a rock and a hard place if something bad happens.
now you're thinking like a leader. Congratulations. I'll go scout around, and I just leave.
Savan, go ahead and make me a survival check. You're kind of investigating.
I am bad at survival. Hey, but I got a 19.
Okay. As you are kind of looking around, spreading out through this portion of the city, you continue to realize it's almost like whoever was inhabiting this section of the city just completely vanished. There are no signs of really people having lived here except for the buildings themselves. As you look kind of into some of the broken homes and things like that, most of the furniture is worn, very much exposed to the elements, faded from the light, things like that. However, you don't really see the sort of signs that you would expect for like a city that's just been left to nature. No signs of like rats that have been chewing on things or moth-eaten curtains or anything like that. It's kind of just like life ceased to exist here.
I kind of continue to just worm my way through, different houses and buildings, kind of in like a perimeter, being stealthy, as stealthy as possible.
Okay.
I'm going to use one of my divine senses to cast Detect Good and Evil.
Okay. As you do so, you kind of channeling this divine ability, looking for the presence of stuff that is unnatural or otherworldly around you, you get the feeling that something is off. Almost like an undead presence, but below where you are.
I look to my feet and scratch at the ground a little bit with my claws. If we were to go below the city, where might we go, you think? I'm just saying out loud, talking to everybody.
Do I hear her?
You're off scouting.
That doesn't mean I can't hear you.
Give me a percentile.
Percentile? Oh no! Okay, one sec.
I should take a couple of those up just in case.
12!
You do not.
Damn it, it's fine.
Like, are we talking catacombs, under, like, aqueduct systems?
Hi. You have done enough research at the library to know that there are catacombs underneath the city. Most of them are pretty much like off limits, and are either accessed through the library, which has a pretty extensive hidden vault and series of tunnels underneath the city, which are, as you have found out in the past, off limits to just about everybody. And Akari, you would know that there are some tunnels underneath the temple, accessed through the inner sanctum. However, it's pretty much just another vault, and really only accessed ever by the Oracle himself. Other than that, like between the two of you, you probably deduce that there may be other tunnels. They're just not something that's frequently utilized or even well known in the city.
I'm gonna call out for Savan. Just be like, no name. You can be of use now. Where are you?
Can I sneak up behind her?
You can absolutely attempt to. Go ahead and make me a stealth check. Akari, what's your passive perception?
13.
18.
In that case, yes, you can absolutely sneak up behind her.
There's no need to shout.
My spine just goes rigid and my tail flicks out. No need to be so skulky.
I'm not skulking. I'm scouting like you told me to.
The red lilies.
Hmm.
They're quite old as Khadesa. Would they have any sort of underground connections, literally underground? And would you know how to find such access points?
DM, do I?
You have used some underground tunnels. There are like kind of sewerway tunnels and things like that under Khadesa. Most of them accessed either through like certain drainage passageways. You also know that some nobles have been known to keep like underground tunnels and things like that. A leftover safety measure from days long since past that were used to like either transport items or could be used as an escape route.
With that, I shrug. I mean, yeah, the red lilies are old, and I kind of pace a little bit towards, like, do a little fancy footwork thing around her, back up to the front of her. I mean, is your family not old? Would they not have any sort of, I don't know, underground storage rooms or escape passages or anything like that, Princess?
If they do, I'm not telling you.
Well, if the red lilies do, I'm not telling you. I'm gonna go take another look at the well.
Okay. As you're looking at the well, Minji, you hear, not so much hear, so much as feel. Being a person that is very much attuned to music and the sort of magic that music carries with it, can almost feel off in the distance the use of drums. Not from the city, but from the road east of the city.
Kind of like look down at my feet, and then I look. You said east?
Mm-hmm.
I look eastward. Seems like there are some people nearby playing some drums.
Are these warning drums or are they arrival drums?
Minji, go ahead and make me a general intelligence check.
Oh no. Oh no. 4?
Somebody is playing drums. That's about all you can feel.
Do you hear them from within where we are, or are they coming from Khadesa? Because one means that they are our problem, and the other means that they are someone else's.
They're just coming from the east.
I look over eastward. What is eastward of us?
Eastward of Khadesa is pretty much just jungle and hillside. There is a gate. What is better known as like the Merchant's Gate is on the eastern side of Khadesa, south of where you guys are right now. And that is kind of the gate that most of the traders from outlying villages use, compared to like the South Gate, which is really considered to be like the main gate of Khadesa that leads into like the nicer area of town. The Eastern Gate leads into more of the trade ward, and there's a road that leads out east, and then it kind of ventures out northeast through the hills and jungle outside of Khadesa.
Taking another glance into the well, I'm pretty positive this wouldn't be like an entrance to a tunnel, right?
You would presume that it wouldn't have originally been, but it does strike you odd that there is no longer water in this well.
I go down it.
Okay. The rest of you watch as Savan kind of just like jumps down in the well. You can hear kind of like the scraping of a tool used to slow his fall as he kind of lands on the bottom. Savan, as you glance around, you actually see that at the bottom of this well, it kind of widens up. So the portion of the well itself is maybe only a few feet wide. It goes down for about 15 feet, which you also notice is slightly unusual. Most wells don't go quite that deep. And as you hit the bottom, you can see just above you on the sides of the well, there are basically portions that have been walled off where the irrigation would have flown through previously. And you are now below that. And you are kind of in this like larger chamber of an area, pretty roughly carved into the earth, and there are stones kind of placed around, and a series of stone tunnels, different kind of just open doorways essentially leading down these very narrow, jagged corridors, are leading out of this basically like 10-foot diameter, not perfectly circle, but circular space underneath this well.
I found an entrance!
Good thing he's not dead yet.
It's a long fall, be careful. If nobody else has rope, you're SOL.
I have 50 feet of rope.
Okay.
I'm going to tie it off and gesture for them to go down the well.
I do that.
Kai,
Carefully.
Minji, going along too?
Yes, I'll go down. I'll wait till you all go down first.
It wouldn't be very leader of me to leave a member of my party up here just in case. I'd rather go last.
Well, then I'll wait till... He kind of gestures to Kai. I'll wait till he goes down first.
Kai is going to send Bayou down first because he doesn't know if he trusts Vaughn. He's also just going to like scoop up a little rock and cast light on it and then just like toss it down the well.
Okay.
So,
Quinn and Savan, the two of you from the bottom, see this like glowing rock kind of drop down to the bottom as this small little squirrel-like creature kind of scampers his way down the rope to kind of stand between the two of you.
And as soon
Just,
as I
like,
kind of
points.
get the impression from Bayou that it's safe, I just like grab the rope and kind of like
oh, so it's just me and
Carefully.
Quinn down there.
Uh-huh.
I assassinate him. Just kidding.
No!
True nature
Devon's the
revealed.
imposter. Oh no.
Ah.
No, just kidding.
So
Um,
Kai,
while-
your way down to the bottom of this well.
While we were waiting, while they were kind of bickering of like who goes first before Kai comes down, Savan's gonna help Quinn down in the darkness and just take a second and be. So, I know you don't really want to hear about death from somebody like me, but I do feel like we got off on the wrong foot.
Maybe a little bit.
And I don't mean you any harm, I'm just not impressed. And I don't want you to die if you don't have to. So just stay out of the way and maybe leave the little sparking parlor tricks to the child.
That's
You
totally
hear
fair.
this last little piece as your feet hit the ground.
I've never really thought of myself as impressive anyway, so...
I mean, maybe you'll get there. Magic is pretty cool if you can use it.
It's something.
Magic is super cool.
Of course you would say that. Yeah, no, we just wait for everybody else to climb down, I guess. Actually, can I, like, look into... You said there's different... Is it different... How many tunnels
Yeah,
are
so there are 4 tunnels. They're not evenly spaced, but they're approximately, like, northeast, south, and west. These 4 tunnels that are kind of jut off into various areas underneath.
And then, can I, like... Because I have dark vision, but can I see or hear anything that, like... Is it just stone?
Go ahead and make me a perception check.
19 again.
Okay. You do not like hear anything moving or see anything. Don't see any other lights or anything like that coming down. Most of these tunnels seem very organic. Having been in certain man-made tunnels underneath Khadesa, most of them are made. They're not exactly all nice tunnels, but they're very like straight and angular. Here, however, things are a little bit more. They kind of just twist off in weird areas where it's hard to see down the entire hallway and things like that. Kai, would you actually make me a nature check, please?
That's a 15.
Okay. You, having been dedicating a decent amount of time to research about the Yadasim, or the plane of Earth, have read bits and pieces about creatures that burrowed tunnels underneath the jungles of Khadesa. And it's not too much of a stretch to think that this might be the work of something a little bit more natural than man-made.
I'm going to pick up the rock that I cast light on, and down one of these passages, I'm just going to kind of like chuck it in that general direction.
Okay. Which passage would you like to throw it down?
I am actually over time going to kind of like grab little bits of whatever I can off the ground and kind of like throw something down each direction.
So
really discreet, are you?
I'm still waiting for Minji to go down the well.
Okay. While the two of you are up there staring at each other, Minji, what are you doing?
Once he sees that Kai has made it down, well, the best he could see to the bottom since it's very dark.
There is a small light glowing at the bottom now.
Okay.
So you can see down there.
Well, once he knows that Kai's down there safely, he'll start going down. And also call down to those at the bottom, please don't look up.
I'm going to use my claw to carve an arrow into the rocks of the well.
Okay.
So,
Kai's going to look at Savon after
and then I'm going to go down.
Comment and just say, anything that lives down here can probably see in the dark better than I can.
Yeah, but you're drawing attention. Never mind. I don't know what I expected.
Kai, as you're picking up like bits and pieces of like rubble and stone and like throwing them down these various hallways, you kind of get a glance that the eastern tunnel has actually partially collapsed further down, and seems like maybe a small creature like Bayou could probably fit through to see if there's anything beyond, but the tunnel itself pretty much dead ends after it curves off a little bit. To the north, the tunnel kind of starts to veer off towards the left-hand side before it kind of continues off, and you can't really see too much without actually following the tunnel itself. To the west, as you look down the tunnel, it kind of zigzags a little bit, and you get the sense that it probably goes on for at least a little bit. And then to the south, it seems like the tunnel opens up into a larger area.
Okay.
Is everybody down now? Yeah?
Looks like it.
Well, only seems to be one way to go now, doesn't it?
Makes things easier.
Indeed. And I'm gonna start forging ahead.
I'm gonna kind of like scamper up in front of her a little bit again and slide in front of her. Okay, I know this is getting annoying, but listen, it's my job to go and look at things ahead of time, be sneaky about it. So say there is a big creature like the kid said that can see us, won't be able to see me. I can see in the dark, that one can't. He's lighting up the way, literally setting a beacon all over the place. Let me go ahead. Scout it out a little bit. We'll be back up until
I look down at the rocks that have been imbued with light, and I pick it up, and I toss it back the way we came.
Which
Lead the way then.
pathway are you heading down?
Because there's one that's blocked off, right?
Yep, and that one's to the east.
East. And then there was one more that led the other way. And then it branched off, you said?
So there's basically one tunnel off in each cardinal direction. The east
Okay.
one seems to have collapsed.
Oh, I thought there was
The
only
other
two.
one kind of
Okay.
opens up into a larger area. And then the other two, you couldn't really tell what they led towards. 'Cause they kind of turn.
I'm gonna cast Divine Sense again
Okay.
and see if there's one direction that has a bit more of a pull.
You definitely feel that same kind of not quite traditional undead presence, but something off, both to the north and the south.
Well, we can go north or we can go south. There are unsightly things in both directions.
flip a coin.
Boy.
I'm gonna roll a percentile
Hey.
as well. We're going north.
Of course
Rolled
it
60.
is.
Right, I'll go on ahead.
And the north one is the one that opens up a little bit more, isn't it?
The southern one is.
The southern one,
north
okay.
one kind of makes a little bit of a curve towards the left.
Okay.
As you kind of dart ahead to look down this now once again completely dark tunnel. As you look down further, as the tunnel itself kind of makes that gradual bend towards the left, you see that it opens up into a much larger area. And you can see what look like pillars kind of placed to ensure the integrity of a structure. And compared to the more organic structure that, like Kai has kind of pointed out to you, the chamber that lies ahead looks a lot less naturally formed.
Taking a look around, do I see like any creature? Is it empty? Is there another like passageway? Is it a dead
Are you
end?
going to go like right up to the edge of this room to look
Yep.
in? As you look into this chamber, you basically see a large, it's about like 30 feet wide, about 50 feet long. And you do see that on the far end, there is another tunnel that carries off from it. And along the walls, so in the center of the room itself are 6 pillars, kind of haphazardly placed. They look like they were like trying to make it look like they were aligned on each side of this chamber, but they're not perfectly spaced. And and are more out of function than they are to look nice. And along both side walls, you see like a series of little like alcoves or grooves that have been carved into the walls. Little platforms that currently stand empty, kind of like raised in. Kind of the thing that you've seen this in some nobles' homes where they'll have entrances and they have like essentially little recesses in the wall where like statues can be set or small altars can be placed, things like that. And it's very reminiscent of trying to mimic that.
Is there anything in any of them? Or are they all empty?
All seem to be empty.
I'm going to scour the entire room before I like loop back around towards where I came from.
Okay. Give me an investigation check, if you will.
Ooh, 19 again.
Okay. You notice that as you are kind of walking about and looking, kind of taking a closer look at like the walls and things like that, there are no objects or anything set into these recesses. However, some of them do have carvings of what look like words. You do not understand primordial, do you?
I sure don't.
Yeah, they are a language you don't recognize it.
I do.
Well, that's cool. I don't know that, so
I know.
you're not here yet.
Is that a character?
Okay. Man, I know so many languages, just not primordial. Neat. Okay. I'm gonna look around, make sure it's safe. I'm gonna take a peek through the other passageway too. Does it like curve away or leave?
Does continue to curve. It makes kind of another gradual L-shaped curve towards the left again.
Okay. Is it flat or is it like going up or down?
It seems to be pretty flat.
Okay. All right. I go back. But very stealthily, and I want to try to sneak up on Akari again.
My back is to a wall, and I'm waiting for you to come back. Very poignantly being like, I've looked, and I'm waiting for you to come back.
Savon, go ahead and give me a stealth check. Akari, go ahead and give me a perception check.
I have dark vision. Does that make it advantage?
It's totally cocked in D&D Beyond, but I'll take that stupid roll.
A perception?
Yes.
14.
I got a 13! Are you kidding me? That's dumb. It's fine.
You're trying to sneak back. Akari, you see the very cautiously slow-moving figure of Savon trying to, like, blend in with the wall.
I get to a point where I notice she's looking at me because I have dark vision, and then I just gotta, like, stop.
I push off the wall and start walking towards him. Anything interesting?
Yeah, a huge monster. We should turn back.
I walk past him.
Akari, as you walk into this large chamber, go ahead and give me a perception check again, if you will.
Okay, 17.
Okay. You see very, very similar to the same style of certain nobles' houses. Your family doesn't so much have one, but you have been in nobles' houses that look similar to this. Particularly some of the nobles that belong to various ancestries of Elastra or the Celestial Plane tend to have displays like this in like their main halls or things like that. And they're often actually go ahead and make me a religion check, if you will.
Religion check. Ooh.
And then if the rest of you are following, any of you that have proficiency in religion can also make me a religion check.
I do not.
That's a 6.
I actually
Okay. You're pretty well versed in your own family's traditions, Akari. You haven't paid too much attention to some of the others.
It's fitting.
That's a 22 for Kai.
Okay. So Kai, as you enter, you very much, you've done plenty of reading into the various planes and some of the traditions that accompany them. And a lot of the followers of Elastra or the Celestial Plane very much favor the display of various deities or being able to pay homage in an easily accessible way. And many of them actually in their homes will put out altars or statues or representations for all of the planes, so that any visitor that comes to their home can pay homage to their respectable or their respectful plane or religion or way of life. So it's the setup of this hall is very, very similar to what you would find in most buildings, either be it homes or public spaces that are run by members of Elastra. The only thing that is missing, obviously, is the actual statues or shrines or altars or things like that themselves. Akari, as you are taking a closer look at these, you notice, however, with your previous perception check, that the primordial words that correspond to each of these recesses correspond to the 6 planes, or the 6 realms beyond, essentially. However, there is a 7th recess, and one you do not recognize. The words itself would roughly translate into the Forgotten, but it's nothing you've ever seen before. And you've done a fair amount of, spending time in the temples and things like that.
I'm going to rake my claws along it, just leaving a little bit of a line in there. I'm just going to scoff. Of course there would be a 7th one that no one knows anything about.
7th what?
What was that about not telling me anything about the red lilies?
What's that about you not telling me anything about your family?
Same thing about not telling you anything about the 7th something.
Quinn and Minji and Kai, the two of you are just stuck in the middle.
Kai speaks primordial, so he probably saw it, and he's just going to play it cool.
You could also.
That's right.
And does not.
Savannah will sigh. All right, well, what do you want to know?
I guess I'll just let you know later. There's nothing of interest in here, though.
She can't see because he's wearing his masks, but he sticks his tongue out at her. He does kind of glare, though, but...
Is there anything else in this room?
It's
just
pretty
the
empty.
pillars and the recesses?
Yep. And the passage that...
There's the passage.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jerk my head towards the passage and look to Servan. Well, you do like scouting ahead, don't you?
He just sighs and he goes off. Anything for you, princess? He calls out as he's scampering through the darts around the corner.
You are good at taking orders.
As you continue around the corner, the hallway becomes kind of narrow and jagged again, very similar to the previous passageway. And then as it makes the curve, kind of a gradual 90-degree curve, it opens up into a smaller chamber than the previous one. This one is about 20 by 20, roughly square, not perfect, but pretty roughly square in size. There is a passageway that leads out of it directly in front of you, and there is also one to your right, which would be towards the west. And in this room, you can see a number of like barrels and crates and things like that, most of them broken open, remnants of stuff. This room is kind of just like with stuff has been shoved into the corners, and there's just bits and pieces of stuff around. If you would like to, you can go ahead and make me an investigation check.
Wouldn't be a rogue if I didn't. All right. 16.
Okay. As you look through, you see a lot of what really look like personal effects, things that would be used by just common townsfolk. Kind of scattered in are like broken bottles of like liquor, or like the scabbard of a knife. There are a couple of now very much dulled knives, as well as tools, things like farming tools or shovels, that sort of a thing, kind of stockpiled in here. You also see a number of like children's toys, effects of clothing, various just bits of everyday life. Go ahead and make me just a general intelligence check, if you will.
Oops, wrong button. Come on. 16.
Looking at a lot of this stuff, it kind of draws your attention back to having kind of scouted up above in the city portion, and you notice there really weren't a lot of signs of life. Lots of things were just like missing, and you could definitely see a lot of this stuff having been from the upper portion of the city. It is definitely not new.
I'm just gonna call back down the tunnel. It's a junk room. It's safe.
With that, I go and follow into the room.
Same.
As soon as Savon was out of earshot, Kai's gonna like pick up another rock and just be like, do a really unflattering Savon impression, be like, light is bad, dark is good, and he's gonna cast light on another rock and then stuff it in his pocket. And then he'll follow
gonna
along.
laugh at that.
Yeah, Quinn's just gonna
Kai,
snort a little bit.
give me a performance check.
Oh.
Oh. That is actually gonna be an 18.
It's pretty well done.
You get a chuckle out of Akari.
Like the voice inflection on it.
Better than the original. More palatable, at least.
As you all kind of head down the corridor into this smaller room, you see the same thing. Basically, collections of just junk, old bits and pieces of various things, supplies, tools, toys, clothing.
I probably picked up like a child's toy, like a doll or something, and I'm just kind of like holding it in my hand, like leaning against a wall when they come in.
Looks like they took refuge here to some degree.
Or somebody shoved all of their stuff underground. And I just tossed it all into a pile. I mean, if the area was quarantined, then I wouldn't blame whoever did cleanup to just put all the belongings underneath.
Right.
It doesn't really look lived in as I like kick a scrap.
No, but they belonged to someone at some point. Doesn't mean you should disrespect it.
They're gone now, and I'm just gonna walk, like, into. Were there two different ways?
Yes, you can either go south or west.
I'm gonna go south.
Okay.
Without saying anything.
As you do so, you hear what sounds like something hitting the stone floor ahead of you.
I'm gonna go, like, because I was just as I was walking in there. I don't know if anybody was like following me.
I was about to. I'm letting you snoop.
Go ahead
I'll
and
hold up one finger.
perception check, Savan.
Okay. Are you kidding me? Ah! Natty one! He is very distracted.
You kind of turn to like stop everyone else as you turn straight back. You don't see anything. The tunnel kind of just moves ahead and then makes a gradual turn to the left again.
I'm gonna just hold up one finger and like point down like a stay motion. I'm not saying anything. And then I'm just gonna dart ahead. Stealthy.
Go ahead and make me a stealth check, please.
Mm, 16.
Okay.
It's one of my numbers.
So you kind of hush everyone, leaving them behind, darting around the edge of this, or the corner of this chamber. You enter into, or I guess not quite enter, but you get to the entryway of another large chamber. This one is roughly 30 feet in diameter, somewhat circular. And you can see a number of small objects as you kind of peer in, kind of pressing yourself up against the wall. They are various like jars or pieces of pottery, bowls, things like that have been kind of very neatly placed around the outer portions. On the far end of this kind of circular room, there's another passageway. And in the very, very center of this room, surrounded by all of these pieces of pottery on the outskirts of it, there's what looks kind of like maybe a small altar. And on top of it, you can see a what looks to be some sort of very similar to what is set up at many shrines. You can see like an incense stand and several pieces of like rolled up paper that have been like placed onto a ribbon that is dangling from like a small little display and things like that. And at the far end, you see a glimpse of kind of awkward lumbering movement trying to get away further down the tunnel from you.
Shit.
Awkward lumbering movement. Can I tell how big this thing is?
It's no taller than 4 feet. It's pretty small, actually.
I'm gonna sneak up on it.
Okay. As you kind of very carefully tread through this chamber, catching up to this thing that is moving away, it makes movements similar to like a humanoid creature, but it doesn't look quite right. And as you get a little closer, you see like scraps of fabric draped over it, and what looks to be like a kind of like an old armory helmet, very similar to one used by soldiers like centuries ago. You see odd limbs kind of jutting out as this creature is kind of just like shuffling almost down the hallway.
Please hold. I'm looking at something. Let's see. So it seems small, or at least 4 feet,
Yeah.
but it has extra limbs and it's all like wrapped up.
You can't tell what it is.
Okay. And is it moving pretty slowly?
It is.
Okay, I'm going to, without alerting it, I'm going to try to make my way back as fast as possible.
Okay.
Oh no!
Go ahead and give me a stealth check with disadvantage because you're moving quickly. The rest of you, while Savannah's gone, are any of you doing anything?
So, this is the third time that Savannah's gone off and found nothing. So, he's probably gonna find nothing again. And Akari is following after, kind of impatiently.
15 was my thing.
Savant, you are actually pretty quiet as you turn around, but as you do so to kind of go back through this room that is full of pottery, you see Akari standing directly across the room for you. As Akari,
I run right towards her, I grab her mouth, and I push her back. Like, just full-blown, like, run, like, jump on her almost. Not, like, push her down, but just try to push her back away from, the creature, like out of the room.
I do start saying, "Oh, found another monster, did you?"
Just Yep.
Give an
While we're
angry
all-
growl.
While we're all waiting,
if-
Kai has been like showing off to Quinn, so he's got like his mage hand like doing weird stuff.
Cute.
like sorting through the bits and pieces of stuff.
He just
that
sees
has
like a kindred spirit spellcaster and is just like
That's
totally
cute.
showing off.
Quinn's definitely into this. He's very happy to see like experienced magic.
That's cute.
Maybe
So,
someday.
Savan, if I'm, successful to some degree, grab her, like, kind of push her back as far as possible, or even into, like, a wall or whatever is, like, right behind her. I'm gonna just, like, get up into her face and whisper, "There actually is a monster this time. It's not very big, has extra limbs, I have no clue what the hell it is. But if we get the drop on it, I might be able to kill it. I just didn't want to do anything that would upset you."
Mm-hmm.
Shh. Like, but that, and then I look back. Is the creature still leaving, or is it?
It seems to be like having stopped and is kind of like trying to listen or look around, and then you see it like shuffle further down the hall.
Okay. Now just nod, yes or no. Are we going after this?
I nod.
Excellent. And then he darts back, and I want to like run as fast. Like, it's okay if I'm not. I'll try to be stealthy, but if not, I want to run up and like, sneak attack, assassinate, get the drop on this guy, like with my sword, right behind him.
Okay, that's gonna bring us into initiative. With the prize round.
Cool. Okay.
Let me pull this up.
First fight. First fight ever.
Oh no! Well, hopefully not for you. That's the point. That's why Siobhan is like, good, Akari is here, the one who can actually like fight. Neat. She can back me up and stop the other kids from getting involved if need be, but I'm gonna go and try and take this thing down.
All right, initiative from you, Kai.
13.
Okay, Savan.
9. I'm moving first, but
Quinn.
surprise round.
12.
Okay. Akari?
19.
And then Minji.
21.
Okay. Wow. All right. So, with that, the two of you who are actively starting combat, we're going to start with the two of you. So, Akari, as you watch Savan just start darting across this chamber, what would you like to do?
How far away is the creature?
From where you are standing now, it's about 50 feet away.
About 50 feet. Okay. I'm going to use my movement and my action to get as close to it as possible. So
Okay.
I have 30 feet of movement, so I can get within it for next round.
Yes, yeah. As you catch up to this thing, you realize that it's kind of like turned to look at you. You can see that it is basically this like hodgepodge bunch of pieces that have been put together, bits of armor, what looks like scraps of metal and wood and stone making up some rough form of a skeletal structure, bits and pieces of cloth draped over it as it kind of looks towards you as you have been catching up to it, having like completely taken this thing by surprise. You see that inside this old battle helmet that you were wearing, a very faint purple glow. Savan, that's going to bring us to you.
So how far am I? Then, if
you
I'm
having taken
dashing
off through the room would probably be within about 30 feet of it.
Cool. Then I'm gonna definitely use my movement, just slide up, right up, like because it's short, almost technically like run and end up into a slide as I take out my katana and just do the ninja thing. And I have advantage because it hasn't taken a turn yet. So, natural 20
Okay.
on my first roll, and the second one. But yeah, no. So
with sneak
20.
attack?
Well, so I'm an assassin, so I would have gotten a critical hit anyway. But I also do. I get it's critical. It hits hard. But that's awesome. Thank you, D&D Beyond. So how do you do max plus?
We'll just do the standard crit rolls. So double the dice.
Okay. So then I'm using it with two hands. So 1d10. So
Yay, first combat.
Double the amount of dice, or I roll and then I multiply by 2.
So you'll double the amount of dice that you roll.
Okay. So I only rolled 1. Okay, sorry. I'm 9 plus 2. Fun. So that's 11 just with the katana.
Okay.
And then it's like doubling the physical amount of dice, right?
Correct.
Okay. And then my 2d6. Or actually 46.
46 for the sneak, yep.
So 11. Yeah. Ooh, spicy. 11 plus 15, so 26 points of slashy ouchie damage.
Wow.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of damage.
I can kill you guys in one blow if you're not careful.
and then some.
And then some. So
actually, not just put you in death saves, like
into tiny bits.
You dead. Like you
Very
are
dead.
Chopped into tiny
Very
bite-sized
I
bits.
is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Spawn, as you take your blade and just sink it into this thing, you kind of cut through bits of like wood and things like that, but there's not any like solid organic material inside of it.
I just read something. I have savage attacks, so I get to roll one more die because I got a critical hit.
Okay.
But it just says roll one of the dice in addition and add it to the extra damage. So what would I roll?
Your normal damage die.
My weapon die? Okay.
Yeah.
So then 26 plus 1, another d10, plus 8. Yeah, 34.
You got it.
34? 34 points of damage. Ow.
Blade
You
kind
just
of
put me out
passes
technically
through,
too.
like, splintering wood and scraping against bits of like stone and rusted metal and cloth. You realize that this thing is relatively hollow.
What the hell? Did it go
Same.
down or did it just...
Still up.
Is it... Okay. Now that I'm like up in it literally with my sword, do I see the purple glow?
You do, yes.
Oh boy. And then do I get a better look at what it is?
It is basically, you have not seen anything like this before. It basically looks like some sort of creature that has been built with scrap pieces, and then you're not, it doesn't appear to be living.
Okay. Fun. Okay. Then I'm going to stay there with my sword in it. Look over at Akari. This isn't a real thing. I think it's been constructed, and I'm gonna try to, like, you know, just extra for flavor, like pushing my sword into it.
Okay. Minji, give me a perception check, please.
Oh boy. 8.
You're just minding your own business. Is there anything you would like to do while you are watching Kai show off magic tricks to Quinn?
He's actually gonna walk over to that doll that Savan just kind of threw off to the side, and he's gonna, like, make sure it's sitting up, like, proper and everything before going back to watching Kai.
Okay. Akari, back to you.
Cool. Now that I am within fighting range, I'm gonna hit it.
Okay.
So with smites, do you do it before or after you determine if it's hit?
So if it's one of the smite spells, that's a bonus action. So you can do it before. However, if you're going to use divine smite, then you can declare that at any time when you roll damage.
Cool. Awesome. I'm gonna hit it.
Okay.
Bonk.
19
That
plus 4, so many numbers. 23.
That's a lot of numbers.
That hits.
That hits, and then I am going to tack a searing smite onto it.
Okay.
So I need it to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
13, so it's not super high.
Okay.
Ooh.
This thing is not that great. That's a grand total of 8.
Nice. So it takes 6 points of fire damage.
Okay.
And then 8 points of slashy damage.
Okay.
And then I'm going to... Was that my bonus action, though? Oh, yeah. Searing Smite was my bonus action. Okay.
Great. This thing kind of turns towards you. You see the bits of fire kind of burning at stuff from the inside. Give me an insight check.
Insight. Oh, I'm proficient.
When she smacks it, Savan's just like, whoa! And like it's just this blazing Nagitana that just crashes into the creature he's right next to.
That's another 18!
Oh!
19! I can count and read numbers. 22.
Okay. You realize that the fire from this attack seems to have much more of an effect than the actual physical strikes have. And that's going to bring us to the creature's turn.
I gave it a kind of like a smirk, and just for flavor, just have more fire kind of come from my blade.
Okay.
Almost taunting it.
Well, it's not super happy about attempting to set it on fire. So it's going to make 2 melee attacks, one against each of you. The one against Akari is going to miss. That's a grand total of 10. And then the attack against Savan is going to be an 18 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay. And that's going to be a grand total of 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
Ow.
As it kind of turns around and with one of these awkward limb-like structures kind of just swings at you and catches you with like a solid chunk of metal that's kind of been positioned at the end of this limb. That is the creature's turn. Kai, would you give me a perception check, please?
So I'm gonna just say flat out, because he's doing this performance, that unless
Doesn't even care.
Savan or Akari like said anything, knowing his role in this thing, he's just totally into it.
Okay.
And he just goes into this really like long and complex like secret handshake with the mage hand. Like slapping and like bumping and like doing all this stuff, like showing off for Quinn and Minji.
That's so cute.
You're doing this. Quinn, are you paying attention to Kai's performance, or are you paying attention to like your surroundings?
He's. How long has it been since Akari
Like
left?
10 seconds.
Like 10
Okay.
seconds.
It's
Not
pretty-
long.
Yeah, not long.
And he doesn't hear the. I'd say he's like. He's paying attention to the performance, but it's like
Savan
kind of
did
half
yelp.
there.
You guys
Oh.
are like around the corner though.
That's true.
Then give me a perception check at disadvantage, please.
Okay, disadvantage.
You're kind of paying attention, but you're mostly paying attention to Kai.
I rolled 2 15s, and that is +0, so 15.
You think you hear the sound of like scraping metal echoing from down the hallway.
At that, he's gonna kind of he's just gonna sneak, kind of, or not sneak, but carefully, like go, like walk around the corner, just unconsciously, without telling Kai or Minji. Just curiously.
You just get up and leave.
Yeah.
Kind of peek. As you kind of glance around the corner, you have dark vision, right?
Yes. 60 feet.
Glance around the corner. At the end of you see this kind of rounded chamber, and just past this rounded chamber with like these urns and pots and all sorts of weird small pottery bits on the floor, this kind of altar in the center. You see extending down the hallway a burst of flame coming from Akari's weapon, as Akari and Savan kind of at the corner of this hallway appear to be engaged with some very strange looking creature. You can't get a great look at it though.
They're fighting garbage. Yeah.
Is there anything
he's-
else you'd like to do?
He's gonna wave his 2 companions over, just carefully, just a little.
Okay, Savan, that's going to bring us to you.
Cool. What are your rules for flanking?
So I use, if you have more than one person engaged with a creature, you get advantage.
Cool, so I get advantage. I'm gonna I'm gonna try to sandwich this guy. So I'm on one side, Akari's on the other, because wow, flaming sword. Ouch. So then I'm just gonna do what I do best. Now I'm gonna hit it with my sword. Oh, I rolled damage. I didn't mean to do that. I'm not that person. Okay. So, well, good thing I have advantage. I guess that balances out my natural 20. 16.
16 does not hit.
Ah, fuck. Okay. Whoop. Okay.
Scrape. Your blade kind of scrapes across the metal shell of whatever this creature is.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to then disengage, and like I'm assuming my back is towards the tunnel it was heading down.
Yes.
So I'm going to disengage. I'm going to look up at Akari and I'm going to say, "Trust me," and I'm going to dash back in deeper into the tunnel.
Okay. How far back are you going to go?
I don't know if I can just go back to I'm basically scouting out to see if there's any other creatures because we're making a lot of noise and lighting up the hallway, so.
You sure are. You kind of make your way back, pretty much the full 30 feet, actually about 20 feet of movement as you kind of round this corner again. Empties out into a square chamber, about 15 feet by 15 feet, pretty rough. And as you kind of glance, turning the corner to look down towards this chamber, you see 4 figures cloaked in kind of tattered, worn cloaks, and you can see the faint purple glow from underneath the hoods.
Cool. I'm trying to be stealthy. I'm trying to be stealthy. Trying to be stealthy. And then I'm gonna use the rest of my movement to go back because I went 20 feet that way, and then I'm gonna go back. Can Akari see me?
I have dark vision.
They'll start to round the corner back.
Okay, I'm going to hold up 4, gesture that way, and like big X arms, like I'm basically being like, no, go, like back that way, like a turn around. Basically, is what he's
like. Leave, disengage.
He's not talking. He's just gesturing because he doesn't want to make noise, but because it's kind of like 4 people, down this way, bad, don't go, and then he's gonna point like at you, but it's kind of like behind you.
Okay.
I'm doing thieves can't sign language, and you're not picking up on it.
That is actually
like speak tea ceremony.
You know, those creatures in that other chamber. So Savan, as you are backing up and trying to signal to Akari, you hear the sound of footsteps behind you as these creatures are kind of making their way down the hallway, and you can see them, these like purple glowing orbs of eyes from underneath these really dark hoods. And as they get a little closer, you can see very much the like kind of rough looking bits of flesh falling off. You can see where they've attempted to preserve, almost where like stitches have been in place to like reattach skin and things like that on these faces of what were at one time humanoids. As the first 2, because only 2 of them are going to be able to fit side by side in this chamber to get to you, are going to take attacks at you. The first one is, I'm assuming, going to miss at 11.
Yes, that misses.
And then the second one is going to be a 19 to hit.
That definitely hits.
For 7 points of piercing damage as it slashes out of you with a fairly worn blade, but a still useful one as it catches you. The other, you can see 2 more right behind it. And as you kind of look at they all seem to be in like pretty bad shape. These like figures are falling apart. And that's going to bring us back to the top of the round. Minji, as you see...
Sorry, do you do talking as free actions?
Yes, as long as it's within 6 seconds. You probably would have used your 6 motioning back.
That's fair.
Minji, as you see Quinn trying to motion to you, what are you doing?
I'll look over at Quinn. Oh, what is it?
Looks like they're fighting.
Oh no. And then he just heads down.
Are you using both your movement and your action to dash?
They're about 50 feet?
So you guys are further back down the chamber, so they're about like 80 feet.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, then I'll use
Okay.
movement and dash.
So your 60 feet of movement would put you kind of in the middle of that round chamber with all the pottery, but close enough that you can see 20 feet ahead of you, Akari, Flaming Naginata out, Savan, and these like zombie-like figures behind Savan.
Okay, and just the Naginata that's on fire, is that the only source of light? Because I don't have dark vision.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
That's
That
right.
flash of flame is basically like the only thing illuminating that right
But
now.
it doesn't like illuminate. It just
Yeah.
there's fire and then it's gone.
You
So
can
I don't
see
think
enough
that
of a flame. It's all within the 6 seconds, so you can see that flash of flame still, but it is dissipating. And you can see the slight glow of purple. There's a very faint glow. That's gonna bring us to Akari.
All right. So I see this one, 2 more, and then 2 more coming.
Yeah, so there's basically 4 behind Savan, but because the tunnel is so narrow, only 2 of them can actually reach him.
Okay. I am going to grumble and flick my Naginata around, and I'm going to grasp it by only my thumb and my pinky and hold out my fingers towards the oncoming creatures. And then I'm going to disengage from the small one that I'm fighting.
Okay.
And step back about 10 feet.
Okay.
And I'm going
of the round.
yeah, like I'm going to hold my action until Savan is out of the way and those other 4 are closer.
Isn't your action to disengage? Sorry, you're not a
Oh
rogue.
shoot, you're right. Well,
You can still step back.
I'm not gonna disengage. I'm just gonna take the hit.
It will try to swing at you.
It can
With
try.
attack of opportunity. And it is going to miss. That's only 14.
I really want things to hit me, guys.
Then come help out my boy, because he's getting hit real good.
I'm working on it. But okay, I'm gonna step back and I'm gonna hold burning hands at first level, and I am going to grumble and skulking weasel of an assassin, useless. Get out of the way! And just hold my hand out towards it, just fire starting to swirl around my claws as I'm holding this spell, waiting for Savan to get out of the way and for these creatures to get closer.
Okay. As you kind of enter into this hallway, waiting there, that is going to be this creature's turn. And it's going to actually follow you. Savan, you can take an attack of opportunity. Oh no, you're not quite close enough. You didn't quite get back to it. So it's going to follow you. And it's going to attempt to make a couple of attacks against you. And with both rolls, it basically like doesn't even get close, as it's very like awkwardly swiping at you. You think you see like the remnant of a broom handle take a swing at you, followed by like part of a rake, but like swipes out with another limb. As it's just kind of like almost like this autopilot slashing towards you. Back in the chamber with all of the various odds and ends, Kai, as you have just seen Quinn flag you, and as he's catching your attention, both of you hear the sound of footsteps coming down the hallway from that western room. And Kai, with your little like demonstration, you've got enough light that you look down this hallway. You see moving towards you 2 individuals. One of them you see dressed in guard's armor. The other is dressed in monk's robes, exactly like the ones worn in the library. And you see both of these figures looking to you, purple glazed eyes, as they enter the room. The soldier is going to take a swipe at you, Kai. That's going to be a 19 to hit.
That does hit.
Okay. You're lucky. I rolled really bad damage. That's only 4 points. It's actually going to be bludgeoning damage as it reaches out to strike you, but does so with like the blunt end of the sword. And then the monk is going to take a quarterstaff strike at you, Quinn. That's going to be a hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a 23 to hit.
Definitely hits.
And that's gonna be 7 points of bludgeoning damage.
I am 1 hit point left.
Just like cracks you over the side of the head. And that's gonna bring us to Kai.
All right. So first, when Quinn just like walks off, Kai's like pretty offended. But then all of this happens. And so Kai's actually gonna shout out just like really loudly, "Oh crap!" So I can see these two other figures like clearly enough to target them, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and you have like the glowing rock on you still.
Okay. I am actually gonna kind of make this motion with my hands and flick out my wrist, and this bolt of fire is gonna shoot out at this monk that's just attacked Quinn.
Okay.
And that is going to be a 19 for firebolt.
Okay, that hits.
All right. That will be 4 fire damage.
Okay. 4 points of damage. You got it.
And that will be it.
Okay. That's going to bring us to you then, Quinn. As you kind of, having just turned around basically to hear the sound of footsteps, and then your vision is kind of going a little fuzzy as you take this like stick to the side of the head.
Oh God! Yeah. He's going to look up at who or whatever hit him. Then he's going to look around. Are any of his companions within 5 feet of him?
Kai's right there.
Oh, no. That rules out Thunderclap. Shit. Well, at least the monk guy is right there. He's never fought anyone before, let alone with magic. So he's gonna go in for a sort of like really weak, half-assed, like desperate punch and cast shocking grasp at it.
Okay.
The monk. Okay. Does a 16 hit?
16 hits.
Okay, 1d8. Okay, 7 damage.
You got it.
Ah! Oh no.
Okay.
This is real bad.
It's gonna bring us to Savon.
I am going to disengage and book it away from these guys because, ow, that hurt. As I do, I'm basically gonna run up next to. I can reach Akari
Yes.
with my basic
Yeah.
movement. And that creature is like right next to her.
Yep.
Okay, well, actually, I'm going to. So I'm gonna run towards Akari, and again, with the creature between us, I'm going to attack it from behind. So, sneaky stabby damage. As I do I see Minji?
Yes. Yeah. Minji's just like
Okay.
like 10 feet maybe behind the 10 feet into this room, so about 10 feet away from you.
Okay, I'm going to as I go to stab into this creature, I'm gonna look up past Akari over at Minji, like make eye contact and say, "Run, Catboy, get out of here!"
You also see, because you were facing the correct direction, a flash of light from further down the hall where Kai and Quinn were left behind.
Cool. I was distracted by that because I rolled 2 4s.
Yeah, it was very.
Oh, you do care.
Maybe he does. Maybe he does. Is he really a jerk? I mean, yeah, but
Ending.
is there a reason? Maybe.
Probably not.
Probably not.
I'm just born with it.
That's gonna bring us to these kind of zombie-esque figures who are going to continue into the hall, and now that they've got some room, we're going to kind of spread out in that chamber. 2 strikes from 2 of them against you, Savan.
Do they enter? Do they meet my requirements for my held spell though?
Oh yes, they will.
And Savan is opposite of me. Good thing you're Dexy.
Do it, princess.
It's only a DC of 13, but it is 3d6.
Okay, and it's dex saves, right?
Yes.
Well, zombies are
Cool.
Dexy.
20.
You're fine.
I'm fine.
So, 1 success, 1 fail, 1 fail, 1 success, and 3 fails.
So that's a 17 damage.
Okay.
And so that would be 8 halved
Okay.
of fire damage.
Drop 3 of them then.
Yes!
And as it does, you see kind of this plume of like inky black smoke rise out from the 3 of them.
Which is it?
Sorry,
the main one in
thing.
front of us?
I'm not high enough level. I don't have evasion. I take the 8 points too. So
I told you to get out of the way.
And then the creature next to you. So it's the 2 of the zombies and then the construct figure next to you.
Okay, so there's still 2 zombies left.
Correct.
Okay.
The other zombie can't quite enter the chamber, so
Okay.
he can't quite get into contact with you. So he is behind.
Wait.
You're,
Wait, no, it's not my. That was the reaction. That was reaction. Never mind. Sorry, it's not my
hear,
turn.
like the clattering of like the various components that held this creature together, like scattering near your feet.
And it's on fire because burning hands ignites flammable objects.
Yeah, the bits of like cloth and wood inside of it. So pieces of it are on fire.
Just like a hellfire demon in this firelight underground.
The little pieces are on fire, and then the kind of torn, tattered clothing of these zombies, what's left of the flesh to burn, is also on fire.
Nice.
Okay. So the 2 that remain are going to take their attacks. Savan, a 12 does not hit you, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so both
Thank
of them.
God.
Both of them miss. And that's going to be all of their turns, which brings us back to Minji. as you see Akari, like, this, like, column of flame surrounding her, like, emanating from her hands. 2 of these zombies and this strange construct creature just crumple to the ground. At the kind of entryway to the tunnel beyond the room that you're in, there are 2 more of these zombies, one of them having sustained some burns.
So I'm gonna stay where I'm at.
Okay.
I'm not gonna react to Savon's little cat boy comment. I'm just gonna remain calm. And I'm going to cast Dissonant Whispers on one of the zombies that are near, or not zombies, whatever they are, near Savon.
Okay.
So that's a wisdom of 13.
Okay, that's going to be a 16.
Well, poopy. And then... And then I will, as my bonus action, cast Healing Word on Savon.
Oh.
For 5 health. And that's it.
Okay. Akari, that'll be you.
Okay. Can I bonus action grab a potion of healing and shove it into Savon's chest as I'm walking past him to fight the other zombies?
Sure.
Okay, I do that, and as I'm just like walking past him, I'm just like, heal yourself, I'll take care of this. And then I'm going to hit it.
Okay.
That's not great. That's not great.
It's a zombie.
13.
Yeah, that totally hits.
Oh, cool. Nice. Oh, for a grand total of 3 points of damage.
Oh yeah. That is
the one.
actually just enough.
Oh shoot!
It's no 36, but it'll do.
Excuse you. I killed all of them.
Having already kind of set this one on fire, it's still kind of like the clothing on it is still burning away as you just stab this thing, as it crumples. Fire still kind of rippling up from it. You see another cloud of that kind of plume of black smoke emerge from it.
That's real sus.
Okay.
That's
Anything?
my turn.
Okay.
No, I'm good.
As you see from these 4 creatures that you've just dropped, you see these like kind of wisps of black smoke reaching up towards you. Akari, Savon, and Minji, need all 3 of you to please make me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh boy.
I'm good.
Just watch as Savon gets... Wait, you don't have an aura yet, do you? You don't.
I don't, and I rolled a nat 1.
Cool, I got a 10.
Oh. Oh boy.
Okay, and then Minji, what'd you get?
9.
Hey.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
All 3 of you kind of feel this like wave of almost like lethargy, just apathy, and you feel like you don't want to move. Just
Is this familiar?
there. It is familiar to you, Savon. As all 3 of you just kind of feel like you've been hit by something that is kind of just holding you in place. Let's see. That is going to bring us back to the other room. Kai, the soldier, gonna take another swipe at you. That's gonna be a 19 to hit.
I will hit.
Okay, for a grand total of 3 points of damage, bludgeoning. And then Quinn, the monk, is going to take a It's a natural 20.
Oh, son of a...
Is Quinn dead?
Is he gonna
No.
die?
Actually,
Oh.
Quinn, you see just out of the corner of your eye, this creature like wind back this staff, and what seems like should be a completely powerful blow kind of just pulls at the last minute, or at least you would notice that it pulled at the last minute if it didn't knock you unconscious. And he's going to just deal his damage non-lethal. And he knocks you out.
Huh.
And Spy, you just watch Quinn just fall over. Basically, like this, you hear the rushing sound of the staff and follow just like this small little crack at the last second as he pulls it just enough to impact. Not enough to do a lot. But enough to drop Quinn. And that's gonna bring us to you, Kai.
Okay. Interesting. Seeing what
Still
just
terrifying.
happened to Quinn, Kai is gonna take that blow that he took and just like get laid out and like drop prone, and he's gonna wait like a second and mumble something, and then his eyes are gonna open back up and they're just glowing purple.
Okay.
And I'm
Sneaky,
casting
terrifying
Disguise
child.
Spell.
Make me a deception check.
That is wonderful.
Sneaky little bookworm.
Yeah.
That is gonna be a 16.
Okay.
God.
Okay. We will get back to that as you are just laying there.
Wow.
Purple eyes. Is there anything else you would like to do?
No, that's it. Like I said, I'm gonna drop prone and then like just my eyes open up and they're just like the same glowy purple that I've now seen on 2 occasions.
Okay. Quinn, you are unconscious, but stable.
Okay.
So, Savan.
Cool. Are there any other creatures still alive in this room?
There is one more of the like
Alive.
zombie creatures, and you see these 4 wisps of like purplish black inky smoke.
Oh yeah, I'm lethargic.
Hovering. Yeah. And you kind of just feel like you can't move. You don't want to move.
I don't even want to take a potion.
You don't. But you can make me another wisdom saving throw.
Thank goodness.
Chill. Chill.
I'm just vibing.
Again.
Aha! Soft 20!
Hey.
Staring at this potion and staring at it, almost like you can't quite bring yourself to drink it. And then at the end of your turn, you kind of just like, oh, yeah, that hurts. Ow. You kind of shake yourself out of it.
Okay.
And that is the end of your turn, the wisdom save.
Okay. That's fine.
Which is going to bring us to the remaining zombie, who is going to, we'll 50-50 this, take a strike at Akari. Oh my goodness. No, that's not going to hit.
I'm not even moving.
Yeah,
Tripped
and I'm rolling
over,
a natural 5.
Tripped
Ooh,
over a
that's
glowing
not
rock that
like
Kai
it.
threw.
I know, you two stayed behind with the ones who are actually got some strength left in them. So that is the zombie's turn, which brings us back to Minji, as you also are just kind of staring, and you can't quite bring yourself to move or to do anything. Go ahead and make me another wisdom saving throw.
Three.
You are still just stuck in place. Akari, same with you. Just stuck there. Go ahead and make me that wisdom save
Wisdom save 18.
Okay. As you kind of just are sitting there, you push past it, and your vision kind of clears. That feeling of weight that is holding you in place, you shake that off. You are no longer held. But that is the end of your turn. Which brings us back to, as you see these like tendrils of smoke kind of swirling around. Minji, would you please make me a charisma saving throw?
Oh, I'm good at that.
I hope so, Bard.
24.
Okay. As you're kind of just like chilling there, you can't quite move, you hear an echo kind of in the back of your head, like something is trying to push you aside and take over. And you just hear this kind of, not so much words as a feeling, this feeling of hunger for something. It's looking for something. But you shake it off. But you are still held. Okay. Back to the other chamber. You, Kai, lying on the ground, looking up at this soldier and this monk. The two of them exchange a glance. Kind of that hollow look towards each other. They start to walk away. If you want, you can take an attack of opportunity.
No, I'm just gonna let him go.
And you see them walk further down the hallway towards where your other companions have gone. What would you like to do? It's your turn now.
So I will use half my movement to stand back up.
Okay.
Can I tell just like visibly that is Quinn in danger, or is he okay?
Give me a medicine check.
Hey.
What's a 13?
He's breathing. He's alive. You don't see anything that's immediate danger. He's not actively bleeding out.
Okay. I'm just gonna slowly kind of shamble behind these other zombies, but I'm gonna keep my distance.
Okay.
And then that'll be it.
Okay.
Clever. Very clever.
And you're still just taking a nice little nap.
Mm-hmm.
Little nap on the ground.
Nice sewer nap.
You kind of think you feel like something feathery on your nose for a second, but you can't quite open your eyes. Savon, back to you.
Okay. I am snapped out of it. I see this potion in my hand. I look up. Do I see a Kari's snapped out of it too, right?
Correct.
Cool.
He's still a little out of it.
I am hurt, but I also am a prideful jerk, so I'm going to run over to Akari, hand her back the potion, and I'm gonna try to get an attack on this guy with advantage.
Okay. You got
this
it.
last guy with advantage.
See if I ever give you a healing potion again.
While he does that, while he hands it all over to her, he says, keep this, I have my own, and he's going to try to D&D Beyond, don't screw me over, please. Cool! Well, at least one of them was a 22, so, and the other was a 17, so
okay.
I hit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Cool. Oh, yeah, spicy. So, well, good thing I get sneak attack damage, because I rolled a 1 on my primary damage, which is stupid. With my sneak attack. Okay, well, a total of 7 damage, including my... Yeah.
Total of 9, right?
7, I said.
It's not 38.
Okay, so as you go, you strike at this thing, you hear like the rattling of bones, the tearing of flesh. It is still standing, though.
Cool. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. That's gonna bring us to the zombie, who's gonna try and take a swipe back at you and miss.
Sweet.
That's its turn, which brings us back to Minji. Still just vibing there. Go ahead and make me a wisdom save again.
Five.
You're still just can't
Oh.
quite bring yourself to move.
I'm good at vibing, what can I say?
Very comfortable spot.
Max
Akari,
vibe.
back to you.
I'm gonna look down at the potion, look at him, roll my eyes, and start hitting on this thing, grumbling and
You're gonna start hitting on him?
I
the
ship
zombie. That definitely changed what I was gonna say. Arrogance and pride. You think you are a noble instead of a gutter rat. Natural 20.
Yo,
Whoa!
you don't even
Yeah.
need to roll damage. This thing just was like, you just take its head clean off right in front of Savan. It just drops to the ground. That black tendril of smoke rising up from it. You, Akari, and Savan, you also notice, kind of out of the corner of your eye, coming down the hallway, 3 figures. One of them appears to be one of the very much dressed in the robes of the city guard. Another one dressed in the monk's robes from the library. And about 10 feet behind them, Kai. All 3 of them with purple glowing eyes.
Oh no.
Oh, great.
With that, Minji, will you please make me a charisma saving throw? Okay. Again, you just hear, like, you can feel something kind of trying to get at your mind. But you're just, like, singing a nice little song in your head, and it just can't quite seem to get what it's looking for. That's gonna bring us to the other, so the soldier and the monk crossing the chamber. The soldier coming up towards you, Akari, going to, oh my goodness, not hit. That's like the 4th 3 I have rolled in a row. I'm gonna get a new d20.
Yeah, use
No.
like moon dice.
And then the monk gonna come up towards you, Savan, as they kind of just skirt around Minji, who is just standing there, kind of glazed looking. The monk, that's gonna be a 19 to hit.
Yeah.
That would have hit me.
For 8 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh,
Oh, you sure you didn't want to take that potion?
No,
I'm
doesn't need it.
fine.
Very solid crack.
I say.
Regret.
That's gonna bring us to you.
Okay. So like a dutiful little zombie, I'm gonna kind of keep moving, but I'm gonna make sure that I'm like slower than the other zombies, so they're like slowly moving further and further ahead of me, and I'm kind of like hanging more and more back.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna leave it at that.
How far back do you want to stay?
I would say like at least 20 to 25 feet
Okay.
behind
You
the
kind
other
of just
zombies.
like barely enter this chamber and then kind of slow to a halt. Quinn is still unconscious. This time you kind of feel something sharp, like on your jaw. Kind of feels like bird talons, maybe.
Oh.
Doesn't really pull you around though.
Regret.
Savan.
Okay, I'm gonna take that hit, and he's gonna kind of groan but catch himself because they're hurt. And then he's going to mutter to Akari, "It's not that I didn't need the healing, I just didn't want to take one of your resources." And he's gonna disengage, and he's going to use his movement to get 30 feet back. And then he's going to take his action and take his own potion. So,
where would you like to end up? Are you going further down the hallway where the original zombies came from? Are you heading back towards where Kai is?
I'm going to...
Kai's still looking a little off.
the path of least resistance. If I do pass by Kai, would it feel like he would probably hit me? Or...
give me an insight check.
Oh, that was so close. 8.
He looks a lot like the thing that just hit you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Wait, if I take the disengage action, do I provoke attack of opportunity from anything? Or is it just that, like, it negates it from any creature I pass, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so then never mind, that's fine. Because I'm using fancy ninja rogue stuff to
Okay, you're just gonna
disengage bonus action.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, Catboy's here, Child is here, where the hell is Magic Newbie? Where'd he go? So I'm gonna head back.
Around Kai and just into that chamber you're about, like...
Yeah, I just want to get into, like, the entryway. I don't want to leave completely. I still want to be able to see the fight and what's happening. But yeah, I'm going to pop that potion. And it's just a regular one, 2d4 plus 4, but you do max healing if I use it as my action.
You're going to use it as your action, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that's 12 points of healing?
Should be 10. 2d4
10.
plus 2.
2d4 plus... Oh, is it 2d4 plus 2?
2d4 plus 2, yeah.
Oh, okay, then that's 10. Cool. Yay!
I know
Back at
Saban
half.
is using disengage, but in character, Kai's gonna just make like a really like weak
Lazy slap.
in
Later.
Saban's direction.
Someone's just gonna kind of give him this look as he just slides right past him.
Even with that 8 insight, you don't really consider Kai much of a threat at this point.
No, I never did, but now it's just like...
You're really selling it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Skeleton, or the zombies are all down. Minji, give me that wisdom save again.
11.
So close. So close. Just can't quite shake whatever's holding you there. Akari, back to you.
So, pretty much same thought process as Savan. Catboy, wizard, old man, not old man. Where's the grieving newbie?
Where's Bird Boy?
Where's Bird Boy? And as I see Savan going, I'm going to take out the potion that he didn't take, and I'm gonna throw it to him and say, well, you don't want to use my resources, but I'm sure they don't mind. And hope that Savan catches it. And then, would that be a bonus action? Because that's a lot.
Call it a bonus action. Just
Okay.
throw one.
And then I'm gonna hit this city guard that's trying to hit me.
Okay.
Trying to hit him, not hit on him. I'm a lady. That is a 19.
That'll hit.
And then 5 points of slash of damage.
Hey. You got it. I'm gonna bring us to both the guard and the monk. We're gonna take their attacks. Oh my gosh. Pretty sure Kari's just gonna think she's invincible because nothing can hit her.
Ooh, it's not so bad though.
I rolled a 9 and a natural 1.
Some people get all the luck.
I mean, there's a reason I'm going to be speaker.
Minji.
This is so great. I'm gonna have like a god complex after
Go
this.
ahead and make me another charisma save, if you will.
Six.
Okay.
Natural 1.
Oh shit.
No. as this thing is kind of you feel something again at the back of your mind, and all of a sudden you kind of feel hungry, but not in the traditional sense. Something's driving you, and all of a sudden you look up and you see the city guard. This monk, those purple glowing eyes, they seem like friends to you.
Oh no.
And as you are kind of looking at both of them, kind of looking back and forth, Akari, out of the corner of your eye, you see Minji's eyes turn purple. And I think
Guys.
that's a good place to pause our episode.
I'm
Thank
doing
you
all the
guys.
work, guys.
So much for joining us.
I'm trying, okay? I got my one good hit in, and that was it.
We went a little bit, but thank you guys for joining us. We are going on our mid-season break, so come back. We will be back in June. Stay tuned. Watch our social media for the announcement date. We'll be back in mid-June, picking up right where we left off, right here. Thanks for watching, following along. Be sure to follow us on social media, follow our lovely players on their social medias, and we will see you in a bit.